Welcome to the My Words Matter podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Iguatu. Who am I gathered with today?
Gabriel Ramos. I go by Gabe.
There we go. So, Gabe, tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your history?
So, I am from Dayton, Tennessee.
Okay.
Currently, I'm a freshman at Tennessee Tech University. My major is accounting, and so far, I've been having a pretty good time.
All right. So, what's been your experience like freshman year here at Tech? What have you gone through? What have you seen?
A lot of construction.
Fair.
But there's been a lot of people I've met here, made great memories so far. And there's just been a lot of situations I've been in where it was like a first time.
Okay, that's fair. Has it been like very different than like your like high school experience?
Yes, it's been very different.
How so?
So, when people here seem very open-minded.
Okay.
One thing here. There's more diversity here compared to my high school.
Okay, that's fair. I definitely I've had some conversations with people where like Tennessee Tech is like the most diverse environment they've been in, and then I've also seen like the opposite. So like where I'm from in like Nashville, like I feel like in terms of like Tennessee, between like Nashville, Memphis, Chat, they're about like as like diverse as you get in like a community. So then for me, Tennessee Tech was actually like the opposite. It was a complete change. So I see where you're coming from because I've talked to other people where they're like, it's definitely like the most diverse, especially coming to a college campus. You have like people coming from all over the world, not just from Tennessee. So it's cool when you are like from like the area. You can just like come over to school, and then you got people traveling like across the country just to get here. So definitely a difference. How have classes been?
It's been actually pretty good. I've had to study for the first time in my life.
Okay.
Been doing high school, I was one of those kids that...
Oh, it was too easy. You're breezing through. I got you. I understand. That's fair. Okay, what type of like methods have you had to like pick up to like get through?
So for me, I would say writing down my notes, active recall, I would say.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that. There we go.
Honestly, that's the secret of studying for me. Just testing myself with 3 questions and all that. It helps me a lot.
Okay, so did you know anyone coming to college like beforehand?
I only knew one person here. Yes. Her name was Elizabeth. We both met each other my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
Actually, her dad went to this school back in the 90s.
Oh, nice. That's what's up.
That's how I heard about this school.
Okay, it's crazy how people hear about it. I actually heard about it a weird way. So it was funny. Tennessee Tech was like not on like my list of like schools I was like applying for. Like initially, like my senior year, I applied to mainly like places close like TSU, MTSU, applied to Vandy, and then like my dream school was like Georgia Tech. That's where like I really wanted to go. Money is like an actual thing. We had to like take that into consideration. Like my parents didn't want to like force like a bunch of like loans, and then like they understood how that was gonna reflect on them and me and like my future. So they were like, you know what? My dad was like, you need to like look at Tennessee Tech. And I did some research, and I was like, oh, how did I like forget about this school? This is like exactly what I need. So then I applied, able to get in pretty smoothly, and I was like, here I am, and now I've been here for like over 5 years. So it's been a good experience for sure. So with that, only knowing like one person coming in to here, how have you like adjusted? Have you been able to like find like a community here? How has dorm life been? Like, what's your way to like enter like a social space here?
So for me, I come from a predominantly white school, so there are a lot of people here. As you said earlier, this is not like diverse for you.
Yeah.
Where you come from. So for me, I guess it was pretty easy to talk to people.
Okay.
As well as what was new to me was talking to people of color.
Okay.
That was kind of new, especially people from other parts of the world or other ethnicities that didn't go to my school.
Okay.
Like Filipinos.
Yeah. So has that been like a good experience, or was it shaky at first? Were you like scared, worried, like what was going on?
I was intimidated. I'll put it like that.
Okay.
I was like, oh, wow, all these people, but they're really sweet. We all share this thing of like, a lot of us are first gen.
Okay.
Here. That's one thing we share.
Okay, so I'm also first generation here, so I'm Nigerian. I guess what was your upbringing like, and how does that like affect you like today?
So, how I grew up, my parents were from Mexico. They
Okay.
migrated here. My mom, she raised me with this idea of always self-improving. Because
Okay.
she moved from Mexico to the United States to improve her quality of life for
Mhm.
the family. And I want to continue what she did,
Okay.
improve my quality of life and learn new things by going to
Mhm.
college.
Okay. I got you. That's fair. And do you feel like that mindset has definitely like helped like promote you since like you've been in college? Like, is that something that like stays in like the back of your head? You're like, okay, my mom is really doing better for herself, and she's been creating all these opportunities to put me in a better position. So how am I gonna take that next step and like do the same?
It's always in the back of my mind.
Okay,
Always.
that's fair. Have you had to like run into like any sort of challenges since you've been at tech? And it can like regard anything, whether it's like schoolwork, race, gender, anything. Like, what have you experienced, or has it all been good? Because that's also a thing.
It's all been pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, yes, pretty good
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
I haven't yet found a challenge, but you never
Okay.
know. Life's not perfect.
That's fair. I guess to change gears, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but I guess what community have you been able to like connect with at Tennessee Tech, if any?
So one community I've been able to connect would be Futuro,
Okay.
which is a Latino organization.
I'm familiar with it. Yeah, I used to have a couple friends that were in it.
Yes, they're focusing on helping each other.
Mhm.
Because a lot of them are first gen as well, just like I am.
Okay.
As well as I've met sweet people who are part of the fraternities, the Divine Nine.
Okay. What are? Can you explain it a little bit? I'm not too familiar with the Divine Nine.
So it's a group of black fraternities
Mhm.
here on campus. Met a couple people in there.
Okay,
They were
yeah.
really nice.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I do. I know. I don't know like all of them, but I do know like the ones that are like at least here on like Tennessee Tech's campus, and that's definitely been like pretty cool to like meet people, interact, and just see like the way like they operate and do things. And it's definitely like different. I definitely would expect from like where you came from. This is like a completely different like change of pace than what you're used to. So it's cool to see that you've been able to be like comfortable in like this sort of setting. That's like pretty neat. Um, so with that, so what type of things have you been able to do with Futuro? I know I'm not saying it with like the best accent, but
So for me, one of the highlights for me was when they hosted the dance.
okay.
When they were teaching how to dance to cumbia, bachata.
Okay,
all that
yeah,
At
okay,
at the Tech Pride Room.
okay. Was that like a lot of fun?
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
There you go.
Met a lot of people who were interested, and I was like, oh. It wasn't just like Latinos; it was other groups of people too that were.
Okay. Yeah, I saw some like news about it, and like but it was like after the fact, and I had some friends that were like, "Hey, like we went to like this like little class. We had a lot of fun. I wish I would have known like on time. That's definitely something I want to show up to. I think I've learned like a couple steps to like the bachata, but like I know that there's like different like variations that you can do, and like you can like really like mix it up and like sauce it up. But like I'm let me stick to my basics and like work like my way up a little bit. But
Yes. For me, I'm not like a great dancer.
Okay.
And that was quite a challenge for me.
that's fair. I actually there was a couple years ago, I was a part of ASU, and we also did like this dance class where we were teaching. We pulled from like different countries like Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, and like South Africa. They all have like dances they're known for, but if you go out to like different like functions that are like African based, especially like West African, you'll see a lot of like the same similar dance moves. So we had a class where we just taught like this different like dance routine. And for me, like I'm not gonna say I'm like the best dancer, but I definitely know how to like camouflage, if that makes sense, or like blend in.
Blend in.
So I was doing a lot of that. So like I would like go to like we would have like these practices. I'd show up and we'd like practice for an hour or two. We did it for like a month before we did the class. So then I looked like, at least for that day, I was a professional. I'm like telling these people, I promise you, this is just for show. I am not built like that, but it was a good time, and definitely people were able to learn from that and like build like connections with other people, and that's something that's really important here. Do you have any like siblings, or is it just like you and your mom? Is your father in the picture? How does that look?
So for me, it's my mom and my little sister, who is
Okay.
currently a junior at my high school,
Okay.
and my dad's he's not in the picture.
Okay. Is that like a sensitive topic, or is there like can you like explain why a little bit, or like what's going on?
So my dad, the reason he was not in the picture is because it didn't work out with my mom.
Okay.
He was machista, which is basically another word for saying sexist.
Okay.
But it's like really it's like to an
Yeah.
extreme.
Okay.
So it did not work out. I was around 10 when they divorced.
Okay. How did that affect you, and how did that affect your little sister? Does your little sister have like good memory of her dad, or does that like how does that look?
So my sister, I don't think she had a good memory of it. I do, but my mom, she was very good at explaining situations. So she would be really upfront about divorcing and
Okay.
everything. And for me, I wasn't. I guess I wasn't traumatized necessarily in a
Okay.
way that some other people were.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that was all to my mom, who was very upfront about it. The way she would explain things to me.
Okay.
So in a way, I would kind of be supportive of her choice of divorcing my dad.
Okay. I understand. Do you still like keep in like contact with your dad at all?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No,
That's
I don't.
fine. No. I understand. It definitely. I know it like varies from situation. Like I don't exactly know exactly how you guys' situation was. So to each his own, and like definitely every like circumstance is different. Has that? Do you feel like your mom's been able to carry the weight between like in raising like the family between like both you and your sister, or have like you had to pitch in? How was that looked?
So she been really good at raising
Mhm.
us both. She had a really good paying job,
Okay.
which helped a lot. She always the way she raised us was always about being independent. So by the time I was like 5 or 6, I knew how to, I was doing my own laundry, folding my own laundry,
Mm-hmm.
all those chores. Well, there's people out here that have seen that. I taught somebody not long ago how to
Yeah.
use a washing machine. So there's been that.
I definitely think some of that, so that definitely comes from having to like mature quickly, but then I've also learned that it's like almost like a cultural thing. Um, I've learned like here in like America that there are certain things that like a lot of people that are like my peers like don't know, or like they learn at like a later age that I learned really young because my parents are from Nigeria, and just like the way that they were like raised was different. So I know the way that my parents raised me is different from I guess what's considered like the norm here. So the expectations set like a lot higher, and there are certain things that I was like, wow, like you said, like for example, like
Yes.
laundry. Definitely from a young age, taking care of that, doing it for the whole house, learning how to clean, learning how to cook certain meals, just like basic things that I think are basic. People are like, oh, you know how to do that. I'm like, yeah, do you not? Like, what's going on here? Yeah. So that's definitely a fair thing. I guess do you have like any advice or tips that you would say for someone that's like similar in your situation? I know you just started your career here, but like in what you've learned so far, do you have anything that you would like want to share?
Honestly, just any opportunity you're given, take it. I was talking to the guy that invited me on here,
Okay.
Noah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
talked to him. That was spontaneous. I said yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just be spontaneous. That's my best advice.
Okay.
Because a lot of things like me going here is spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably wouldn't have gone to college if I did not see tech.
Okay, that's fair. I guess before we end, can you talk a little bit about that? Why do you think that would have been the case?
Because college was never really, I never really took it as serious for me personally. Even though my mom was always like, "Go to college," but that's where it was. It was so surface level. I
Okay,
didn't know any deeper.
so okay, I got you. So I guess what made you decide Tennessee Tech rather than just like going to trade school or just working completely like straight out of like high school?
Because a year ago, I went here for Boys Day. I lived in a dorm. I got that experience for 1 week, and I was able to see myself through it. I met a lot of people through it. Um, it was the sense of community that college offered that I wouldn't have found in community college or trade school.
Mm-hmm. I
Like,
got you.
yeah, that would be my reason I chose Tennessee Tech.
No, that's fair. I do tell people from like what I've learned in college, community is like big. When you think about it, like after high school, this is like the last kind of chance you have to be able to like build like friendships and community.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, in high school, I didn't really have a community. I only had a small group of friends, and I've in college, I saw the opportunity of changing it.
Yes,
Last
you
opportunity
can
to
reinvent yourself.
yes, exactly reinvent yourself, and I've read so far. I'm doing things out here.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it gives you that chance. Because I think about it, I had a teacher in high school that actually told me, they were like the friends that you make in middle school, um, you might be able to keep like in your like life now, like post college, for example. You might keep up with like under five. And then he was like, for high school, currently at that time I was in high school, he was like, it's gonna feel like these people are like your friends for life. He was like, maybe only your core group of friends or people you're gonna remain in contact with. And then college is a good place that you usually find your friends for life because of I guess like what you go through in college and like that being like right after that you starting like the next like phase of your life. College is where you're able to make usually like the most connections, meet the
Yes.
most people, and build the most relationships. So I definitely think if you aren't taking a part of that, that everyone needs to because this is something that can like stick with you for like the rest of your life, and you
It
never
can.
know when it's gonna like benefit you or help you. So I'm definitely thankful that I came to college, but I also understand college isn't for everyone, and that there are other ways to survive in life without college. So
There is. It's all on what you want to do in your life. It's all up to that.
yes, sir. Well, with that, I think we have wrapped up the podcast. Thank you for listening to the My Words Matters podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Iguatu, signing out. Have a good one.